Right, back to Dragon versus Bear Hyper War in the 2020s. First of all, what I did to make up for starting the game, initial deployment, played in scenarios. This was it mobilization? No, build-up. Scenario meaning that both sides had already completed build-up. Yeah. So that is the potential starting point. 8 turns in this game. After you set up your pieces according to scenario rules. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Well, maybe. Where? That's funny. Where is it? Oh, maybe that's why, because it's not under initial deployment. Maybe it's because it's under scenarios. No, yes, no. Prior to initial deployment, each player roll. Oh, initial deployment. That is the rules section I was just talking about. Okay. Prior to initial deployment, each player rolls 1 die and cross-indexes the result with the outcomes on his scenario contingency table, which is on the map right under here, right under this notepad. This is the Russian scenario contingency, and under here is the Chinese scenario contingencies. Okay. This may cause various neutral powers to become belligerents. Okay, so that's important. You would know the outcome of this that I did late before you even set up, because it's prior to initial deployment. Okay. that makes a difference. So what happened is both sides rolled a 1. For the Russian table, a 1. For the Chinese table, a 1. And exactly what happens is that I wrote it down for myself to remember, but exactly what it says is, on the Russian scenario it says, by the way, there's an errata that's in the rules. You can't miss it. It's in red. So, but there is an errata. But for a die roll of 1 on the Russian scenario contingency, here's my die roll. It says North Korean intervention. So, 1, North Korea enters the war as a Russian ally. So they were there. All the pieces were there in North Korea. This is the national boundary right here. So it's all together about 4, 8, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, about 25 hexes here make up North Korea. Pyongyang up here to Chongqing, something like that. Number 2, if the Chinese also roll North Korean intervention on their table, then North Korea collapses, remove all of its units from the map and pool. That's what happened. On the Chinese table, I also rolled a 1, so you have North Korean intervention, and again you have, if you have a 1 on each table, it's actually yet another outcome, North Korea collapses. So actually all those North Korean forces that I set up there would not have been there at all. And by the way, what's probably just as important is that either side can use that territory. There we go. Both players may enter North Korea. So it's open territory. It's open ground. So that is pretty cool. Russian scenario contingencies, Chinese scenario contingencies, a pre-game kind of condition setup type thing. The other results are Mongolian intervention, Tiananmen 2. Okay, it looks like they're different. So for the Russian scenario contingencies, other than North Korean intervention, you've got Mongolian intervention, Tiananmen 2, oil boom, and coalition intervention. So coalition intervention sounds interesting. That means the coalition enters the war as a Russian ally. Wow, that's fascinating. See the scenario for coalition forces. If both players roll this event, then re-roll. Okay. Now, in the Chinese scenario contingencies, other than North Korean intervention, you've got Kremlin crisis, you've got forward mobilization, you've got global meltdown, and you've got coalition intervention. That is pretty cool. So, Kremlin crisis sounds pretty interesting. What does that mean? That means one, Chinese are automatically the first player. Russians must deduct one logistics unit from initial deployment, okay? And two, if Tiananmen 2 is also rolled, then ignore this event. Okay, so a lot of these contingencies are interactive, depending on what each player rolls. That's pretty cool. Also, global meltdown sounds pretty cool. During initial deployment, Chinese receive 2 additional hyperwar or WMD, weapons of mass destruction markers, or one of each. So global meltdown benefits the Chinese in kind of the asymmetric spectrum, or in the asymmetric realm. Pretty cool. So in this case it was 1-1, so North Korea collapsed. I like what I'm seeing here. I really do. I like what I'm seeing here. Pretty interesting. Now, when I was looking over the board after the actual play, I noticed that pretty much all the Russian units, well, many of the Russian units are hyperwar capable. So to look across the battlefield, okay, the garrison units are not. You wouldn't expect them to be, right? But even there, they have oh, never mind. Their Marines are not hyperwar capable either. Well, that's interesting. Okay, their mech corps are not hyperwar capable, but their combined arms corps are. So is there a Chinese counterpart? Oh, there is. Okay, so the Chinese have combined arms corps too, and they're hyper capable as well. Okay. The security units are not hyperwar capable. You wouldn't expect them, but their special weapons units are hyperwar capable. Let's see. Both sides have non and hyperwar capable air units. Oh, see, that's interesting. The airborne division is hyperwar capable, but the Marine Brigade is not. Now, obviously, the Special Forces Brigade is Russian Special Forces Brigade is hyperwar capable. Just interesting. And then, but on the Chinese side, okay, their special weapon, they have a lot of infantry, and it looks like none of the infantry are hyperwar capable. Now, their special forces, as you would expect, they are. Their security units are not. That's as you would expect. Artillery. See, the Chinese artillery is not hyperwar capable. I wonder what the designer was thinking there. Why is an artillery division not hyperwar capable? But Again, I'm looking over, so the Chinese mech corps not hyperwar capable. Must be. It just looks like there's a higher percentage of the Russian forces that are hyperwar capable, which means that they are going twice, essentially. They're going twice for every one kind of operation cycle for the Chinese, other than the Chinese that are hyperwar capable. Just different, obviously different operational situations. A lot more territory for the Chinese to cover. Yeah, their airborne units are definitely hyperwar capable, and their Marine division is hyperwar capable. Good stuff though. Dragon versus Bear. I'm liking it.